everybody. This is Friday Night Chats with Kevin.
And I'm Kelly, and this is your Friday, July 23rd episode of Friday Night Chats, episode 21.
21 weeks we've been doing this, plus the off week.
I can't believe that's a long time.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like we've been at this for 21 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
We haven't gotten any better.
Yeah, well, let us know in the comments, either on Facebook or on YouTube or however you want to do it. But let us know how we're doing. Seriously, we want some feedback.
People who watch, let us know.
Yeah, but
we know that our watchers like it.
I'm really wanting to see some comments though. I really like generating comments. So, all right, so
not much happening in our world this week.
No, it's a pretty easy week.
We got up this morning and we were tasked with putting together a bench for Mom's landscaping in the front yard.
Yeah, she had one that was made of wood that she's had for quite a couple years now, but it just rotted out.
It just
fell apart. You have to seal those things from time to time.
No one ever sits in the bench, so
yeah.
But anyway, we recorded that in hopes that we would catch something entertaining, and we realized that might be the answer to actually getting things done without a problem.
Yeah, because it really
it went together,
zipped together like it was nothing. It was
so easy.
Crazy.
There was really nothing all that entertaining.
It was metal, and it basically had very simple. It was 6 screws. Or bolts,
8 screws.
And 8 screws, yeah. It was metal, so.
Usually when Kevin and I attempt to build something together,
Yeah, when we tried to put the exercise bike together, that was sometimes the instructions, they're obviously transcribed from some other language. And God bless the good folks from China that apparently there's something that's lost in the translation sometimes.
Very easy instructions.
Yeah, they were crazy. They basically just had pictures and said, put a screw in it wherever
wherever there's a hole, put a screw in it. And that's what we did. Or I should say that's what Kevin did. I knew that was coming. I need a system where I just stomp on his foot. So yeah, we did that, but that was nothing. So yeah. What we did do this week is we took a ride to Newport News.
Yeah.
To the Amtrak station.
Pass. No, I mean, it's not bad. It's the town itself, the houses and structures are nice. It's a little different, but the road was
well, they were repaving it.
Yeah.
The road was torn up, but
torn all the hell.
Put the nephews on the train to DC on their own.
Yeah. It's a really small train station. You think, oh, I'm going to the train station. You're thinking, okay.
All of us were a little bit taken aback. We were small. Expecting something more. But Kevin and I, well, actually, I should say Kevin had this brilliant idea a couple weeks ago when we found out we were going to be driving them to Newport News for the train instead of them catching it from Virginia Beach. He put a whole playlist together of music either about riding a train or about trains or by the band Train. Every single song had something to do with trains.
Found like 40 songs, like 3 hours worth of music, which we weren't going to be in the car for 3 hours. But some classic stuff.
We're let's see if they notice that all of our music has to do with trains, and they didn't.
Like old school, like Chattanooga Choo Choo, and
I even said at one point,
Blues.
What's the name of this song?
Yeah.
And Kevin's like, Midnight Train to Georgia or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And
Fast Train to Georgia, or Georgia on a Fast Train from Billy Joe Shaver. God rest you. Great. Anything from Billy Joe is great. So get on your favorite streaming and look up Billy Joe. It's good stuff.
So anyway, we get all the way there. We pull into the parking space at the train station, and we said, we can't believe you guys didn't notice it. And then once we said it, they were like, oh, well, yeah, I noticed that you were playing songs by Train. Or, yeah, I figured, I knew, but they didn't know.
Cole was trying to play it up like, oh, he knew all the time. And it was like, no,
they didn't notice. So that was a big bust. We thought wondering how long it would take to pick up on it. And,
and they did.
They were in their own phones and, headsets in and stuff. So.
And they were a little excited. They were already starting to talk about what they were going to do in D.C.
Yeah.
Teenagers alone in D.C.
Well, yeah, they were at the zoo yesterday. Had a great time, according to Cole.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
and I made sure they understood how to do the appropriate throat punch and run. There's nothing wrong. And this is a safety thing. A lot of people think I'm kidding around when I talk about this, but if you're in a situation, there is nothing wrong with throat punching somebody and running. I'm all for it. If you're in a situation where stuff's starting to go south and going to get violent
first.
Well, yeah, but I ain't running. I mean, well, I'm just not very fast. But if I punch somebody in the throat, they got to deal with that for a good 3-4 minutes, and by then I'm at least a little distance away. And that's just me. I'm just saying. I suggest that to anybody in any type of situation that starts to go south. That's what you do.
Yeah. My advice was be aware of what's happening around you. Mm-hmm. Don't get lost in your phone. Pay attention to the stops on the metro. Kevin said, have a throat punch at the ready.
Yeah. Don't mess with the homeless. Don't give them any money. God, don't give them any money.
You do, you kiddos. They're doing great, though. They're having fun.
Yeah.
So they've been to, I think, the Air and Space.
Yeah.
And yesterday they were at the zoo. Today, I think they were doing the Holocaust Museum.
Yeah.
It was hard to say, oh, have fun.
Yeah.
But
well, there's a lot of things like that in DC, like the Vietnam Wall. That it's a powerful place to be. And I'm sure same with like the Pentagon, where the plane hit.
Yeah.
There's just going to be some places where you go and just the reverence of what's it's about is so powerful that you're not. I mean, it's not necessarily going there for fun.
No,
you're going for pay respects or.
And the rest of the day might be fun.
The rest of the day might be fun. DC's kind of a fun town. We went once and had a good time.
Yeah.
I remember taking pictures. We took a ton of pictures, but I didn't have the camera set up right, and it ended up being great because most of the shots were in black and white, but it was set so that it did like the Spielberg thing where everything in red showed up.
Yeah, picked up the red, which was awesome at the Iwo Jima Memorial, and it just picked up the red and the flag. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, there was that. And then, Kevin had taken Liam, who's my 16-year-old nephew, the older one, to the bookstore to buy a book. He wanted a book for the train ride. And they got back and he had picked some 800-page history of the Romanovs.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, man. As an adult, I wouldn't pick that to read, but I was super impressed that he wanted to do that.
Good for Liam.
So that, and then the other thing that had a lot of conversation happening in my house past couple of days was the Bezos rocket launch into space.
Which I think is a good thing. I'm all for the privatization of space travel. I think the fact that we got 3 billionaires competing with each other to outdo each other to get into space is fantastic because there's going to be all kinds of good things that come from it. Nothing but good things. There's nothing but win from this. I know some folks are like, oh, they should be spending their money. No, they should be spending their money on this because what's going to come from this is all kinds of good stuff, like being able to travel anywhere in the world in under an hour. Can you imagine if you get on a plane or some sort of vehicle in Norfolk and you could make it to New Zealand in an hour? That's fantastic stuff. You can get from Norfolk to LA in under an hour. You just get far enough up in the atmosphere and then you just come right back down. All of that is what this is all gearing towards.
I want to know how many average citizens would, first of all, ride something like that. Get on it and actually do that. And second of all, have the money to pay for that kind of ticket.
Right. Because but it's going to make this cheaper. It's going to make the vehicle. They're definitely going to adjust the shape of the vehicle because you all saw it. It looks like a dick. It looks like a dick. It does. I'm sorry. It was just like the Dr. Evil rocket from Austin Powers. I mean, it was just it was straight up a dildo. I mean, they're selling it. I'm sure it's sex shops right now that people are doing. Oh my gosh. So
they're selling it on Amazon.
They're selling it on, probably calling it the Blue Orgasm.
Prime. They can get it to you in 2 days.
In 2 days, yeah.
But soon they'll be able to get it to you in 20 minutes.
There you go. But seriously, just like with any new technology, it starts out like with air travel in the very beginning. Air travel was just for the mega rich people to get from one point of the country to the other. And then after a while, now anybody can get on a plane. It's still, it's not the cheapest method of travel, but anybody can get on a plane and fly anywhere in the world. So that's what's going to happen here. You get these 3 billionaires fighting over who's going to make it better. And God bless all 3 of them. Go for it. Because sooner or later, within our lifetime, or at least within, Liam and Cole's lifetime, space travel that gets from point A to point B is going to be a commonplace thing and not stupid expensive. It's not going to cost billions of dollars to fly from, Norfolk to California in 20 minutes. That's what this is leading towards. Mm-hmm. This is
how do fantastic. We get the resources to do that though?
They're doing it.
No, but I mean like
their resources.
What resources did they use their own to launch that rocket into space?
They used their own.
What did they use as fuel?
Well, what does it matter? If it's anything like the space shuttle, it was water. Essentially water. A tank full of hydrogen, a tank full of oxygen. They burn it through the rocket, and it comes out water vapor. All that. It's not smoke from the space shuttle. Whenever you watch the space shuttle launch, that was water vapor. It wasn't rocket fuel or whatever. It was liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, and it forms into water.
Before we worry about flying from here to like New Zealand in an hour, can we figure out a way to do a mammogram without completely crushing parts and making it uncomfortable? And is there any kind of medical resource that they could do where they could maybe, I don't know, treat cancer without using chemo, like with sound waves? Or can they be developing things like that with their billions of dollars?
I'm sure there are people that are doing that. There are billionaires that are doing that. That's the thing. There are, just because these 3 guys are doing this does not mean that
there are companies that make billions that are doing that.
Right. And God bless them. Thankfully,
I'm happy for medical innovation. I am.
And the people that are developing bionics for people with amputations. Yeah, well, think about this. You build a bionic arm or bionic fingers, and they can do the breast exam with that, and it's not, poles just smashing your titties around. It's a gentle caress from robot fingers that are, not being,
I think you can stop now.
I'm just saying there's these people using their own private resources, developing technologies. Yes, they want to make a profit from. God bless them. It's better to do it that way than the inefficient government that's just going to take that money and say, okay, let's put all of this in middle management and maybe we'll develop something in 50 years. That's how that is. I'd say more power to these guys with their own private space race. They've already developed.
I mean, I don't care what they do with
anything they ever did.
They want to fly in space for 3 minutes. Whatever. I just feel like it's just.
But it's going to lead to much better and more and
much more money in their pockets, no doubt.
I've got no problem with that.
I know you don't.
If that's their motivating factor, why does it matter if they can develop something that is so useful to mankind as a whole?
Because when they get it, they monetize it. And they monetize it so that only rich people then can use it.
No, that's a misconception. If that was the case, then people, like normal, everyday people, wouldn't be able to fly. It would just be rich folks.
Well, I mean, flying to Ireland is out of our financial budget.
But it's not impossible.
It's not impossible. Nothing is impossible.
Right, but if we saved up for it, it's still within our grasp. We don't have to be billionaires to be able to fly to Ireland if we wanted to. We just need to save up for it. It's something that we'd have to plan for. But if it was, if they just kept all that technology to themselves and made it so that only billionaires could do it,
I'm not even talking about just billionaires. I'm just talking about.
If you want to get just regular air travel cheaper, get the FDA or whatever the flight organization. Shut it down because it just drives up the price of of airfare. That's all it does. That's all it does. Doesn't make one bit of safety. All the safety measures were going to be there as long as people can sue an airline for crashing an airplane. The safety is their primary concern because they don't want to get sued for billions of dollars when a plane goes down. They're already losing millions of dollars in an expensive ass plane that goes down, plus reputation. I mean, seriously, I'm just saying this is a great thing. Aside from it looking like a penis, but you can fix that. I mean, I don't know.
Sorry, the other guys didn't look like that, I don't think. I never even saw his go up and down, so.
I mean, well, that's funny, up and down. But either way.
Oh, this is the episode I've been dreading.
Yeah, it's all right. Okay. The ants are laughing their ass off right now. I'm sure of it. Mm-hmm. When you guys have your Zoom meeting with mom and dad, tell them how funny this particular conversation was. I really appreciate it. It's helpful.
See, it's like a match, and once the match is lit, I can't stop it. Once the fire's going,
it goes off like a rocket. He gets on
a rant, and he's talking about it
like a penis rocket.
And no matter what I say, no matter what argument I have, it's just,
It's not that we're not arguing. I don't think we're arguing.
No, we just don't agree. Yeah. Necessarily. We don't 100% agree.
No, we shouldn't disagree. 100% agree or disagree.
Personally, I don't have a problem with the guy having billions. He created Amazon.com.
Yeah.
And I shop on Amazon.com quite a bit. I put money into that man's pocket.
That's right.
And I thank him every day for it.
And not one bit of force was used to get that money.
No. I don't. Now, I do have problems with some of the things Amazon has gotten into that I don't feel like they should be getting into. Mm-hmm. But again, it's his company.
Yeah.
It's his money. So if you want to go to space, and that's great. And great innovations came from landing on the moon. I get
Absolutely.
it. So yes. That I all that agree with that.
Just going to make travel so much better and cheaper. It's going to lead to that.
Okay, but not in my lifetime.
Probably in our lifetime.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, all of this stuff is within the next 20 years. I'm serious. All of this is within the next 20 years. It's not. We're not
okay,
talking
so
about
when we're 70, we're gonna get in something that's gonna take us into the atmosphere.
I mean, we're not. Me and you aren't.
No, we're not. I wouldn't do it now if it was available.
Right.
At a cheap price.
But I'm saying it's better for the world in general. It's going to benefit the world greatly that people can do that.
People can do it now.
They can't fly from here to
Okay, so London it takes you 6 hours.
I'm just saying, if it makes it much more faster to get from point A to point B,
you know what? Maybe the problem with the world is instead of us trying to always get places faster and do things faster, is maybe we need to slow down and start really appreciating what matters around us.
Mm. Well,
we always want bigger and better and bigger and better. That's why people are never satisfied.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's throughout history. There are people that are just not satisfied.
Well, I mean, I know that, but
there's a whole song about it in Hamilton.
Anyway, I just was amused by the look of it, and then watching whoever was in charge of recording it as it was going into outer space didn't do a very good job of tracking it. Because the camera kept needing to be adjusted up, and it just made it look really bad. And I wasn't the only one who noticed, because within minutes it was all over TikTok.
Oh yeah,
it was. I mean,
yeah, the TikTok was full of.
I thought I was like
dick rocket videos. It was.
I was sending Kevin pictures of it, and yeah, look at that, and then
Dr. Evil rockets. It was spectacular. And I get the joke. I get it, because there's no denying it. It looks like a dildo.
We've said it. We've said it.
Yeah,
we've said
it. Looks like a big dildo, and that's fine. The next one probably won't look like that. Probably.
I'm sure it won't.
Well, depends on how much they sell on Amazon.
Oh my God. I'm going to tell you, we're going to lose viewers on this episode.
I don't think so.
I think we will.
I doubt it. We'll see. All right. So
what you're going to learn about Kevin and I is that, here's another thing that I learned this week.
What's that?
That, we decided well before we decided to get married, and we were talking about wanting and not wanting children, and neither one of us really wanted children.
Plus, we were married. We were both older.
I was in my late 30s and not really.
Yeah.
I wasn't willing to drop everything and make something else the center of. I wouldn't have been the parent I knew I should be.
Yeah. And I shouldn't be anybody's daddy.
So we don't have kids not because we can't, or we just made the decision we didn't want to have children. So what I learned this week is that it's probably a really good thing for our relationship that we didn't have children.
Because of Dr. Phil?
What do you mean because of Dr. Phil?
You saw some stuff on Dr. Phil, right?
No. What stuff did I see on Dr. Phil?
I don't know. He's had like crazy kids on all week.
What I noticed is I became annoyed with Kevin's, I don't want to say tone. I don't know. Kevin would call him, instead of Liam or Cole, it was kid or boy or son. And for some reason, that just really bothered me.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. Like, hey, kid, go put this, up there. I'm sorry. Can you say, hey, Cole, do me a favor?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that, I was like, boy, we would have probably argued a lot.
Really?
I think so. Your style is much harsher than mine.
Yeah. Well, I was telling them to throat punch people, so there is that.
There is that. But your childhood was very different from mine, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you were surrounded by straight shooters, and, I mean, it was just what it was.
Yeah. My family didn't mix business. You knew what when we said something, that was
not a bad thing.
Yeah, we don't mince words. We just,
my family minces words.
Yeah, they do. But there's that too. But and anybody, one of my cousins, or if my brother watches this, you just think about crazy Uncle Donald. You know how that was. So
I think
these kids have a cakewalk.
I think I've heard so many Donald stories that when you talk to them, that's kind of what I was like. All right, maybe this is.
Oh, that was I was. They got tame treatment. They got Uncle Bruce treatment, if anything. Which I love Uncle Bruce. My Uncle Bruce was great. He was a really, really good guy, just like my dad. Helped folks out. He basically did electrical work and did small engines and whatnot, and did a lot of work for people for free just because he was helping folks out. Really, really good guy. But he had a kind of a jokester sense of humor, and man, the best thing in the world was to watch that man watch wrestling, because he'd really get into it. He swear to God it was fake and everything else, which it is, but he would just get so into it just watching him. Like, he basically, if his chair wasn't big and solid wood, he would have destroyed it. It was great. And my Uncle Donald is just crazy. He was, God bless him. God bless you, Uncle Donald. But that man, I have no fear of guns, because that man had guns all over the place, and it wasn't nothing for him to pull out the rifle and just start shooting.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You were, and it probably has to do with we were in a really in a neighborhood in a city.
Yeah,
not like a suburb city, but still.
And we were out in the woods.
We weren't out in the
swamp,
in the woods or anything.
Yeah,
we weren't on property. We just were in the middle of a neighborhood, so you couldn't just start shooting
each other
guns
with
off.
BB guns, and of course, I'm a kid of the '80s, so we're watching cartoons like G.I. Joe and He-Man and Transformers, which you kids nowadays don't know. Don't know. Cartoons now just don't match up.
Yeah. But anyway,
that's it. That's this week.
That was this week. So Kevin got a little bit of his stuff in there, and
that's right.
Yeah. Okay. So we are not doing a top or bottom 5 this week. We're going to do table topics. So we'll be back soon with that.
With that in just a minute. Hey, everybody. So we're back.
Quick costume change.
Yeah, that's what it was. A costume change. Yeah. So we recorded 5 cards each yesterday, and it was cool. This is a great game. If you go out and get it, it's just something you can pull out with your family and just great way to just talk about whatever. But for us, it failed because the video just for whatever reason didn't come out. So here we are the next day.
For some reason, it only recorded the audio.
Yeah.
It didn't record the video, so I don't know what the problem was there. I didn't babysit my computer. That's probably what it was. I walked away to have dinner while it was processing, and that was just not a good idea.
Yep.
So here we are, back again.
Dealing out 5 cards each.
Yes, so from the table topics, dinner party collection. I can't talk and count at the same time, even to 5. That's pretty bad. Okay.
From the woman that's been taught to play cards since she was 5, from her card shark mom. And cheat her dad. The man, I love my father-in-law to death. He's awesome. But that man cheats at cards like you wouldn't believe.
Not all the time, but he has been known to. He has been known to.
Yeah.
Okay. But he does it with such authority, you don't even pick up on it.
Yeah.
She's a true master.
Yeah.
All right, so ready?
Let's
Question number 1. Now, clearly, we haven't even looked at these, so here we go. What's a great memory of your best childhood friend?
Ooh. See, I didn't have a whole lot of friends when I was growing up, but for a while there, I did when I was a kid. The first one that pops in my head is actually we found each other on Facebook, but a couple years ago. A guy named Steve. He was the preacher's kid, believe it or not, and we were thick as thieves for years. Good guy now, so it was good to reconnect with him on Facebook. But we were kids and we're running wild through the city streets of backwoods Suffolk, riding bikes or whatever. Where at the time was a high school is now a middle school down the street from my house. There were like bike paths all over the place, and kids would just ride through there. And that was a lot of what we did when we weren't in school or whatever. So it's fun times.
For me, I guess my best childhood friend came along in middle school or junior high, as they called it when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And she's still my best friend to this day, 30-something years later.
Yeah.
And there's so many memories of her and I and another friend. The 3 of us, we used to just spend all our time together, getting into a fair amount of things we shouldn't have. Probably one of my favorite memories was, her picking me up from my house to go somewhere, and some kid on the street who was well known for being somewhat of a troublemaker. Yeah, flipped her the bird just because he could. And she's like, oh, no, we're not putting up with that. And she chased him down in her car. He was on his bike. He went to the park, and there was like a chain over the entrance, so we couldn't get the car in there. But yeah, that was pretty funny.
She don't mess around.
She's like, All
right, my first card. Let's see. Have you ever purchased something you saw on an infomercial? Now, I know not so much well, I know your mom has, but I know that you've seen stuff on Facebook. As a matter of fact, the purchase we talked about in the prior video, one of the things that we talked about was a vacuum cleaner for the pool that we got, which, the pool has got the traditional system, which is a bunch of hoses that you set up for a vacuum cleaner, and you hook it up to the pump, and it filters through. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to use. But you saw this thing. I think you said you saw it on Facebook.
I did, from Sharper
Image. She clicks on it. She's like, "This thing's awesome! It's a vacuum cleaner. It's a standalone vacuum cleaner for the pool. So we bought it.
You charge it, and then you turn the motor on and submerge it right away, and it vacuums up into a little canister. No hoses needed.
Yeah, you just hit just like a regular vacuum cleaner, like a Shark vacuum cleaner.
All these years I've been like, they should just invent a Shark vacuum for the pool, and then they did.
And there it was, and it was in our pool, and it does work out.
And it wasn't so expensive that we couldn't afford to buy it. Yeah, some of them, like the robot vacuums, we don't have a big, huge in-ground pool, but they're really expensive.
The robot ones are like $700 minimum.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
but this was not. I mean, it was under $200, so
yeah,
almost under 100 because it was on sale.
It was worth the price. If you have a pool and you need a vacuum, there you go.
And you don't like dealing with hooking it up through your filter, and that's just
the only thing you have to do for any type of maintenance on it is you have to empty it and spray a hose through it out. That's it.
Yep. For me, I've purchased lots of things on infomercials, more than I care to admit. Vitamins, flex tape.
Yeah, the flex tape. But let me tell you about flex tape. That shit is great.
Yeah, it does work.
It really does. It's no joke.
So, I mean, I'm kind of a sucker for the gadgets anyway. So. Yeah.
All right, next card.
All right. What TV host would you want to interview you?
Ooh. Well, this is you first.
Oh, no, it's not. It's my question for you.
Let's see. Who would I want to interview me? Well, Strahan comes to mind. Michael Strahan. He's a good guy to interview. And Steve Harvey. Beyond that, I don't know. Tom Woods is a guy I listen to on podcast. And of course, Sal does a show. Sal and DeStefano does a show. But they don't really interview TV people. Hosts, but probably those three. Tom Woods, Michael Strahan, and Steve Harvey.
I would probably just say Jimmy Fallon.
Oh,
he's always funny.
Yeah.
Someone funny and non-political and not serious. That's what I would want.
Yeah. Tom Woods is very political because, All right. What would you have for your last meal?
Flank steak and rice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. It's been my favorite meal my whole entire life.
There you go.
Yeah. What about you?
Probably steak. A nice steak on the grill. Or the thing about that, I hate the thought of that, though, the last meal, because usually if you're condemned to death, you get to choose what your last meal is. Or if you are extremely ill and you realize, okay, this is it, this is my last meal. But if you're like murdered or some sort of accident, then whatever you happen to eat is your last meal.
Oh, let's not get into that.
That I just hate the whole last meal concept.
It's fun. Just go with it.
Yeah. So steak and taters.
Steak and taters.
There you go.
Okay. If you could spend an afternoon with your favorite sports hero, who would it be and what would you do?
I don't really have a sports hero. I don't know. I mean, I've watched a lot of NASCAR. I used to really love Mark Martin, so I guess that'd be the guy. And I'd have his ass driving me around. So, hey, Mark, why don't you sit in that driver's seat and do a couple laps? That'd be cool. Sitting in a NASCAR while somebody's riding around. They do that kind of thing, but it's expensive as hell. Beyond that, I can't really think. Sports is not my thing. You can look at me and tell me. Yeah.
I mean, if I had to pick a sports hero, I would go with Cal Ripken Jr.
I'm actually surprised by that.
Why?
Because you're like really into gymnasts. I would have thought you would have said like Simone Biles.
I like watching gymnastics, but there's something about I like baseball.
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of baseball, but I like the game of baseball. And if I have to pick a sport to watch like on television, that would be the one.
Yeah.
And then I kind of grew up with Cal Ripken. So
yeah, that makes sense.
My family, we were Orioles fans, when I was young. So I would say him. And I don't know what I would do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
He's got money to take us to dinner.
That's right.
All right. What music have you recently discovered?
I haven't really recently discovered any music other than what we talked about on America's Got Talent, that
Gangsta Grass,
bluegrass hip hop combination music.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And I liked it way more than I thought I would.
I was going to say the same thing. There's a group called Gangsta Grass. You can find them on YouTube. They are famous for doing the theme music for the TV show Justified. If you ever get a chance, that's a great show to watch. But what was it? The America's Got Talent. They did a bit on that, and they killed it. It was fantastic. Yeah, so it's on YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube. But it's just they're like 5 guys that combine hip hop and bluegrass of all things, and it works. It works real well. So check it out.
It's an interesting mix of music that really goes well together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Who's your favorite odd person? Like, that's a weird question because, like, what is odd?
Yeah. Famously, it would be probably Mr. Bean. You ever watch Mr. Bean? I know you have. It's fun to watch. But like an odd person in real life.
Don't do that.
What?
Don't name someone who you think is odd in real life.
Oh, the guy I was going to mention, I love this guy to death. He's one of my favorite people of all time. But Harvey. I won't mention his last name because I protect the innocent. But you folks that know Harvey, you're like, oh yeah, hell yeah, Harvey's awesome. Harvey called me up when my dad had passed away, and we were down in Hatteras. We were getting the service was the next day. Like it was a Saturday. We were there on Friday. All kinds of stuff going on. Me and her decided to just lay down and take a nap for a little bit. I get a call from Harvey. He's like, "Hey man, do you want to go and hang out at the Hooters?" Hadn't talked to the man in months and months and months. He's just calling me out of the blue. I'm like, "Sorry, Harv, I'm down in Hatteras at my dad's funeral." He's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I miss you." And I'm like, "Thanks, Harv. I appreciate it." It's such an odd, awkward thing. It's one of my favorite memories of all time. It really helped me out that day. It was just one of those things like, that's such an odd thing, but it's so awesome that he was thinking about me. And, God bless you, Harv. Love you. Love you, Harv.
I don't know. For me, an odd person, I have to go like toward the famous side.
Mm-hmm.
Any one of my favorite 4.
Oh, yeah. The boys.
The boys. And out of those, as far as oddness goes, it has to be Joe.
Joe Gatto.
Probably my favorite, if you want to call him odd. He's a little different, but brings a lot of joy to us. So I would have to say that.
This past week they're doing new stuff because of the pandemic, and he was doing something at the Top Golf where he was just basically hitting himself in the groin, and it was just, we were crying laughing at it. It was so hilarious. You got to watch it. It's just great.
The funniest part about that was the guy, the regular guy, the Mark, that's what they call him, didn't even react to it. Like, he just kept repeating his line over and over again. Like,
yeah, he was there to do work. He was there as an actor in a commercial for Top Golf. So he's thinking, this guy's just stupid, but I'm trying to get paid.
It was funny.
So,
all right, next card.
Oh, is that me?
Mm-hmm.
What will be the hardest to give up as you become more environmentally responsible?
Ooh. What would be the hardest to give up as you become more environmentally responsible? I would say paper products, like paper cups and disposable paper plates and things like that. Because
for me, it's the straw. Because I know people made a big deal about it when Starbucks gave up the straw, which they still have the straw, so I don't know what they're talking about. But I guess some Starbucks have switched over to paper straws, and let me tell you, nothing sucks worse than a paper straw.
They can get it right. They can get it right.
I don't think so.
But I mean, I would imagine what you'd have to do to the paper straw would then make it not.
Yeah, probably not
able to break down, but
I really don't think there's a
straws wouldn't really.
it's such
impact my life greatly. There are metal straws and stuff like that. And the only drinks at Starbucks you even require a straw for are Frappuccinos anymore because they put the little sippy cup lid on, which probably uses more plastic, but
they said it's like different plastic.
Yeah, so it will break down.
Well, then make the straws out of that.
There you go, Starbucks. Solving your problems.
Took me all of 2 seconds to figure that shit out. I'm not all that bright, but goddamn.
Well, here's a question that's interesting.
Oh.
How did you meet your significant other?
Well, we've actually talked about this. This was going back to the premiere of the show. But we met online at first. We met online. We're chit-chatting back and forth online at first. And then we had our first date. I was working a show at Blair Middle School, a Halloween show. And it was a Sunday because we went to brunch. So the night before, I was lifting the Marine up and down for hours on end, some 200 some odd pound Marine. Thanks, Richard.
I love how the story of when you first met me always goes into the Halloween show and all the work you had to do at the Halloween show.
Well, because I did all that work the night before, and then I got up and spruced up as best I could, and got in my creepy van and rode all the way out from Suffolk to Chesapeake or to Virginia Beach, and picked you up, and we went out and had the best date ever, and the rest is history. So it's up to you, though. What do you think?
I mean, obviously, I have the similar story, only without all the Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
I had pretty well decided I was done with dating, and I was just going to focus on my teaching career and being independent, and screw all that other crap. And then I talked with Kevin. I don't know. We talked for a couple months.
Yeah.
Back and forth through email. I wish I had thought about keeping those emails, though. That's the one thing I regret is
that we don't have those.
I don't have those emails anywhere. And then when we met that night or the night after or one of the night, pretty soon after that, I had a conversation with you on the phone where you had me laughing until I was crying. And I was like, any person that can just make me laugh like this at his expense.
Yeah. I don't know if I told this story on the show, but essentially what it was when I was working down in Hatteras, when I was 19 years old, I think. No, I was 20. I was 21. I was 21.
25, maybe. It was like 30.
No, I was 21. I remember that now because I remember I did my first jump on my 21st birthday. This was not my first jump. They had a bungee cord jump where it was a 100-foot drop into a bag, and I've done at the time I had done 10 jumps, and they said, "Hey, we're testing a new cord. It needs a heavier person. Do you mind, doing the cord for us?" I was like, "Sure, I'll do it. It's a free jump. Hell yeah, I'll do it. Great." So they get me wrapped up, and I go up and get hooked up and do the jump, and the cord was meant for a heavier person, but it was meant for a heavier person than me. So what I supposed to gently, slow down and come back up and, do that number. I said, don't. I said, and just stopped. And I'm in a chest harness, so I'm just like, oh. So I was already hurt. That caused me to start swinging back and forth. Now below me is a big, solid, nice airbag to catch you if the thing snaps or whatever. But when I started swinging, most of that swing is not over the bag. I'm over a racetrack with cars running on it, like that go-karts running on it. So cars running under me, and then I swing, and by the time I get over the other side, I either got concrete under me or the car's running over me. So if the thing snaps at this point, I'm done, super done. Unless I'm just happen to be over the bag. So they start to lower me down. And I finally get to the bag. Well, normally when they lower you into the bag, you're gently lowered into the bag and you start to crawl out of it and it's all nice and good. I'm doing a good 20-mile-per-hour clip back and forth. So I hit the bag, scraping the canvas bag with my face. And that hurt. And then I had bag all over me, so I had no idea where I was. So I'm trying to fight the bag to get out of the bag. And while I'm fighting the bag to get out of the bag fills up again a little bit. So I'm now lifted up off the ground. And when I finally got to a point where I was at the edge, I just rolled out of the bag and landed square on my ass, just boom, right into the ground. And the guy runs up to me and he's like, "Oh my God, that was that you weren't heavy enough for the cord." And I'm like, "I'm hurt, dude." And he goes, "I can't believe how that looked. That looked crazy." I'm like, "Dude, I'm hurt." He's like, "Oh, well, he starts like going on about, what they need to do." I'm like, "Look, dude, can you unhook me? I'm hurt." So he unhooks me, and I had to wait for the cars to finish riding, and I limped out of there, and they gave me the rest of the day off to rest up, and that was just. Then I did 2 more jumps after that on a proper cord. So
you're just not right. That explains so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
All right, last question.
All right, so we've got, if you could be a backup singer for any band, who would it be?
A lot of musical questions today.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know.
For you, I have a guess.
Garth Brooks.
Probably
He's not a band, but yeah.
That would have been my guess too, is Garth Brooks for you, or Journey.
No, I'd be Garth Brooks because he's just so much fun. I would enjoy the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Just being on stage. I don't have to run. I can just sit at the microphone. But just watching it from the stage would be super cool.
Yeah, man, that'd be good. So,
what about you?
Well, I do go to, my go-tos would be like Waylon and the Highwaymen. That'd be good. But he's dead, so that's not going to work out. So current band, or I don't know anything current, probably Garth or Alan Jackson. I loved Alan Jackson. I love Alan Jackson.
Where'd that come from?
I've always loved Alan Jackson. He's great.
I don't know they considered a band, though. I don't even know if Garth Brooks is considered a band.
Yeah. Well, I think when they ask a question about a band, and no artist is getting up there and just strumming a guitar and singing, they all have bands
that's true.
It's an act. They should say an act instead of a band.
Or singer or whatever.
Singer.
They should put some slashes in there. Band/singer/performer.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. So that was our 5 table topics.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned for our TikTok clip of the week, who happened to come up in my what was the question that I just answered it about my favorite odd person. So you're going to see Joe Gatto in my TikTok clip of the week. So stay tuned for that. We will see you back here next Friday.
Don't know what we're going to do yet.
With all of these technical video problems, we may just have to switch to a completely audio podcast.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know.
What do you guys think?
Getting old.
If we were to do Facebook Lives, would you follow that? Let us know in the comments. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Boom.
What he said.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
I took some time off to rest, and now it's game time, bitches. You have no idea.